The other thing I'm going to have to explain to students, sorry, we're like going to eat into some of your class time, because I want to explain to students that while the grades are visible, they should use it as an indicator of what they've submitted and what is remaining, as opposed to, there's going to be certain things where Jess is going to have to go in and update a grade. Additionally, like Archana has many assignments that actually need to be reviewed to grade, which is why I made it so that like their overall grade does not appear.
Okay. By the way, they're visible now. Oh
Yeah,
no, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm let me go to student view. Sorry.
yeah. No, even from student view at this point, I've just released it, but it appears differently from the student view, right? They just see like a running list of their assignments, and it'll kind of show them what's missing, what's been graded.
No, I'm saying that I can, as a student, I can see the quizzes.
Oh, I hope nobody completed them.
Oh no, it's saying if I click on it, it says access denied.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. You should see the link for it, but it shouldn't publish.
Okay.
Like actually click on the link when we open up class to let me know that they have indeed kind of released, so that it's no longer doing the access denied thing.
Okay. That's okay.
There's something wrong. I cannot access the thing when I'm in not student view. That's why it says that I'm a test student. I keep getting this message. It's new.
Are you talking about Zoom?
Through Canvas.
Oh, okay.
Which part of it?
Which part of what? Like if I'm in the instructor view or whatever that role is, and I click on the Zoom link, it gives me an error message that says you don't have a Zoom Pro account linked to this course. But before it wasn't doing that. It was just letting me go through Zoom like regular, and I'm signed into Zoom.
Very strange. I hope students don't run into the same problem. That's weird.
Oh, it's just mine. If I go to student view, it puts me as test student.
Very strange. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't used to do that.
Are we good to go? Can I admit everyone?
Yeah.
All right.
Can I be a co-host too, or can there just be one?
I already changed you.
Oh, thank you.
And can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you're great.
I hear you.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to kind of kick things off if you guys just want to keep an eye on the waiting room and admit students. All right, here we go. Welcome back, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. If you're in New York, I hope you are keeping cool, because it was way too hot today. We're going to be starting class.
Yes, it was.
We're going to be starting class in kind of a different way today. So we have a pop quiz, and pop quiz is really a misnomer because it's very low stakes. It's not that serious. We have a couple of exercises that we'd like you to complete today. These will not count towards your overall grade. It's really just a way for us to kind of assess understanding, familiarity, comfortability with certain tools, processes. And before I kind of jump into it any further, I just want to say that I know for many of you, whether it's Canvas, VS Code, GitHub, you may be very familiar with these tools. You may have experience using them. That might not be the case for all of us, right? We all have unique experiences, backgrounds. I'm somebody that can write a program in Python, but I've never used GitHub. So, right, we all have those funny things where it's like we might be excelling in one area, but still need to get a little bit more support in other areas. So that's what these exercises are about. It's an opportunity to kind of highlight and indicate where it is that you may need support. Additionally, it's a way to assess our instructional communication. Maybe we think that we're explaining something really clearly, and then we find out that we're not. So I think that's kind of all I have for that. I'm going to kind of walk you through what I would like you to do. I'd like everyone to go to Canvas. And for your live class session page today, I want you to navigate to the during class section. I'll give everybody a moment to get situated there. And when you arrive at the during class section for today, you should see,
Do you see my note?
I don't see your note. Are we good to go there, Asha?
It's still saying denied.
Okay, I'm going to make sure to publish these exercises that I would like you to do today. And we're going to jump into that in a moment. Just bear with me. I wanted to wait until class started to release these. All right. So at this point, they should be available. We have 2 separate exercises. You're going to click on each of them. You're going to have 15 minutes to complete both of these exercises. They're short, they're rather simple. I will say I am not going to, if you run into any areas where you're like, oh, I would like to ask a question, I need clarification. This time around, no clarifying questions. I want you to read the instructions and complete the task to the best of your ability. The only place where I will clarify is in the second exercise that I created. I do ask you to title something with your name. And I actually mean your name. Don't be, no funny business here. Please don't title it with the words your name. If your name's Alana Kelly, title it with Alana Kelly. So I hope that's clear. What I'm going to do is I will put on my timer for 15 minutes. We'll all take 15 minutes to do these 2 exercises. So you're going to complete both of them. And I'm going to say, why don't we all turn off our screens while we're doing it? And as you finish, if you want to turn your camera back on, that will let me know that you've completed it. And if you don't complete it in the next 15 minutes, that is okay too. What we're doing is we're going to host office hours to kind of support you with some of this stuff. Before I move along, do we have any questions on my instructions so far? Have we all found the 2 exercises? All right, Asha, am I missing anything?
Nope, you are good to go.
All right, let's turn off our screens and I'll see y'all back here in 15 minutes. And as I said, turn your screen back on when you're done so I know you've completed it. Thanks, folks. Also, if your Canvas has been open for a long time, you might need to refresh your page to get access to those exercises. If you guys get a breakout room notification, just disregard it right now, please. Just want to give everyone a 2-minute warning. Just finish to the best of your ability. I got a couple of invites who forgot to attach their Google Doc. Take your last 30 seconds to edit your invite to include that Google Doc if you're able to. All right, let's take 10 seconds and bring it on back. All right, so everybody can come back, turn your cameras back on. I'm going to share my screen for a moment because y'all might have noticed something a little different about your GitHub exercise today. And I just want to kind of talk through some of that. So Asha made me aware that many of you were unnerved by the fact that you had completed a GitHub exercise, and then when you go to Canvas, you get a scary screen that says no submission for this assignment. So in order to not see that, we had to make it so that your exercise actually requires a submission. So you may or may not have noticed it, but for this during class GitHub exercise today, what we did was we've asked you to start the assignment and submit a URL to your repo in the space provided. So moving forward, that's what we'd like you to do with exercises. So you would just go to start assignment, and then down here, you're just going to plug in the URL for your GitHub repo. So yeah, I hope that's clear. Moving forward, everybody down with that. We still will see if you've pushed something to GitHub on time. However, this is the way for you to kind of instantly be able to track on Canvas whether or not you have completed your assignment. So yeah, I hope that's clear. Just check in the chat here. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is you may have noticed on the left side of your screen, there's a new tab available. So you'll see grades. The reason we added this is because I know you have many assignments, mini quizzes, surveys, and it's really hard to keep track of them. You might have developed a system at this point to know what you've completed, what you haven't, but we've added the grade tab because it allows you to kind of see more easily what you've submitted so far. So I'm using my test student account right now, and my, let's see. Okay, that's fine. Bear with me. My test student obviously is not a very good student. She's missing a lot of her assignments. But when you go to your grade tab, you can now see if there's an assignment that you're missing. You can see the due date. You can see if you were late on something. For assignments that do get auto-graded, so a lot of times your before class mini quizzes will automatically be graded. You can see how you did. Maybe you got 4 out of 5. Maybe it's a test out of 3. So you'll be able to tell kind of how you did. What you won't see here is you will not see your overall grade. There are many different factors that go into your overall grade. We're going to add a participation grade. There's other things to consider. So for the time being, this is really a great way to understand what you've submitted so far and what you have not. although it won't offer the truest reflection of your current overall grade. So before I kind of hand it over to Asha and Jessica and let you guys jump into your actual lecture, do we have any questions? Yeah, Eddie's saying it looks very untidy, or no, unit test. Okay, that was how you were tracking your exercises. Any questions
No,
before I jump off?
they're discussing the quiz.
Got it. All right, so with that, those little exercises you did today, Asha, Jess, myself, we're gonna kind of review the results. And again, it's just an opportunity for us to identify areas where you may need support or areas where we may need to adjust some of the language we use in our instructions to make them more clear. With that, I think I'm gonna jump off the call for the evening and enjoy your lesson.
Okay, so we're gonna jump into the lesson. I understand that everybody has questions about the the pop quiz. I will try to, during breakout, discuss the pop quiz, but if everyone can focus on the lesson at this point, we can get through it quickly, and I will address the pop quiz. There's nothing wrong with the unit test. If you follow the instructions on the exercise explicitly, you would pass. So part of the exercise of week 1, day 1, as well as this one, is following instructions explicitly. So we're just going to get through the lesson, and then we can go through the pop quiz. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about strings and typing. And as you guys have gone through Stephen, I don't know if you're speaking to me. Nope. Okay. All right. So before class material, you guys got comfortable with assigning and updating variables, as well as adding comments to your documents to document your scripts. What we're going to be doing today is being comfortable with strings, your text, and being able to do type conversions between various types of data, introducing you to Booleans, which is true and false, and then taking input from your user. Okay, so let's just start. Any general questions at this point? Okay. So as we all,
I'm sorry, I have a general
can you
question.
guys just raise your hands and then we can call on you? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I just tried to do the pre-test today. I was unable to access it. I don't know if everyone else had it, but I'll put it in the chat, but I'm in the Slack, and I haven't gotten a response. So I just wanted to see if I was missing something or if something was going on.
Okay, so
The pre-test for today. I'm sorry.
Okay, so that would be Canvas. So I think Alana responded to you and asked you to provide more details. Okay, so that would be a Canvas issue about accessing tests. You're talking about the quiz, the pre-lesson, the before lesson quiz?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think Alana did respond to you, asking you for more details about what error you were experiencing, and if you could respond to her so she could try to troubleshoot it. Cool. And
okay,
you should do it after the lesson, and then she can help you with that. Don't worry about it. Once you guys get it resolved, then you can take it. You won't get skipped. She'll open it back up for you. Okay, no worries. Wesley.
Hi, and I was just asking, during like type conversions, is there a way that we can, convert to Boolean, convert, to Boolean? I know we went through like, with the reviews, like strings to integers and floats, but is there a Boolean, is a way that, hey, this string is true. Like
Yes,
this
there
string is
is,
true.
but we're getting way ahead of ourselves at this
Oh,
point.
sorry.
Okay, so let's stick to when we get to Booleans and type conversions, we'll get to that. You can convert to a Boolean.
Okay.
Yes, you can. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so getting back to it, where are we? Okay, so obviously we worked with strings. The important thing to remember is that a string must have quotation marks, whether you're using double quotes or single quotes, whatever your preference is. You want to make sure that whatever you're wrapping your string around, so that means whatever's on the left-hand side, what you're opening with and you're closing with, has to match. Okay, Python's not going to be happy if you start with a single quote and you end it with a double quote. Okay, so strings are important in Python or any language because it's so much of what our interaction is every day. Human interaction is with words. So you're providing the communication as humans to computers and what have you. Okay, so we're going to start. I'm going to share my screen with VS Code, and if anyone is having trouble seeing it, just holler, raise your hand, and Jessica can remove this so I can see everybody. Okay, everybody can see my screen? Perfect. All right, so we're going to start with, move this around. Okay. So I have a file named strings_practice.py. Okay. I have a terminal open and I'm going to CD into my strings. Hit tab so I can help myself be easier. Oh, and I did it again. Anyone tell me why it's telling me it's not a directory? I tried to CD and it's telling me it's not a directory.
Because it's a file.
And Donald, you have to raise your hand. You are correct. But you are correct. Absolutely. It's not a folder. It is a file. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm already in my folder, so don't need to see it. All right, so I'm going to do print. Let me go back in up here. Okay, so print. I'm going to use single quotes and I'm going to say this is a basic string. As we learned on, what's it called? Today is Thursday. Today's Thursday on Tuesday. Okay, so I'm going to run this with Python 3. And some of you guys are going to be using, instead of Python 3, you guys are going to be using just Python to run your code, and some of you guys will just use Py. Depending on what version of Python you are running, don't get confused. If it gives you some sort of error, try Python string_practice.py. If that doesn't work, try py string_practice.py. Okay, try all three. If it's still giving an error, visit office hours. Okay, how you run your code is dependent on which version of Python you have loaded. Don't get flustered that it looks different on my computer or on the lessons that you see on the videos. Don't get flustered that yours looks a little bit different. Okay, so you see here, it says this is a string. This is a basic string right here. Okay, print it to my terminal. Super easy, basic. There's Jessica. It's a basic string. Okay, so now we're going to add a variable to the mix. So I'm going to say my name equals Asha. Okay, and then I'm going to use that my variable to print my name. Okay, in a string. So I'm going to say hi. My name is, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reference that variable, and then I'm going to add a period at the end. And mind you, here, I'm going to put this is a string. There we go. It gave me a little squiggly for errors. It's a basics. So I've created a variable with a basic string. It holds my name on it. I remember to put quotes. So now there are 3 different ways to use a variable in a print statement. Okay, so the first thing is I'm going to run it. and all I'm doing is using commas, right? So essentially I'm taking 3 different items here. First is a string. The string is hi, my name is, separating it with a comma. Then I'm calling the variable name, separating with a comma, and then I have another string with the period, okay? All right, so now let's run it. Oh, how about I save it? Run it again. Perfect. Anybody see anything wrong with this? Or funky? Patrick?
The space after Asha before the period?
Absolutely. So this method has drawbacks. You can see that the print statement adds a space between every item you print out. So you can see that there's extra spaces. Under the hood, it also handles each item separately and it takes longer to print. Okay, so in the long run, this is really not the best way to be handling this type of print statement. Okay, so then we have the second way. So this is this, if I can say, this is example number 1. Okay, and then I'm gonna do this. Okay, and so let's do example number 2. Comment that out. Okay, so now we're going to concatenate strings, which is basically so string concatenation is essentially a really fancy word for joining strings together. It's a useful tool by using the plus sign. Okay, so essentially all I'm going to do is replace the commas with a plus sign. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, make my life easy. So, and because we're way behind on time on the lesson, because we had a quiz. So here, I'm going to take out this plus sign. Okay. I'm going to take out this comma, add a plus sign. I still have 3 strings. So I still have hi, my name is. I have 2 strings and a variable. Okay. The variable, which is equal to a string. I have a variable and then I have the second string. And I've used a plus sign. When I'm using a plus sign, that means it's concatenate. Okay, and let me put this here so you guys can see how it's spelled. And this is how it's spelled. So it's concatenating strings. Cool. And I don't know what my this. Okay, go back to my bash. Let's run this again. I've saved it. So now here you can see that I don't have a space here. It eliminated the spaces. If I wanted to add a space, what I would have to do is essentially add a space here. If I now run it again, it added the space. Okay, any questions? Okay, so now let's do the third way. So the third way in Python is to do a formatted, it's called an F string, which is a formatted string, okay? Now, not all languages have formatted strings. Python does. I do not think JavaScript has a formatted string, but it does not look exactly the same. Okay, so again, I have my name saved as a variable. So in an F string, what you do is you start as it's called an F string. You're going to start with an F, okay? Then I'm going to start with a quotation mark. I'm going to say hi. I'm going to add my comma. I'm going to add a space. My name is, and now I want to call my variable, okay? So I'm going to use curly brackets and call my variable, okay? And then I'm going to add my period after the curly bracket because the curly bracket is for my variable only, okay? Now I'm going to close it with a parenthesis. See goes outside. Okay, so it's an F string. The F, whatever you want to print goes inside of the quotes, as you can see here. And then whichever variable you want to use goes inside of curly brackets. Okay, so say I want to add two people's names. So it was Jessica. And again, this name one and name. And these are terrible variable names. Don't do this. Okay, so now I have two different names. First name is going to be Asha. Second name is going to be Jessica. And they're both, each variable is saved, and I've wrapped each variable in curly brackets, and I can use them both. And now let's see what it looks like. Again, I haven't saved because I have the little white dot here, so I'm going to save, run it, and here you go. Any questions? Fairly straightforward. F strings, you will use F string all the time. It'll be your friend. Okay. Okay, so now let's talk about methods. Okay, so print is a function. So you see here, this is a built-in Python function. It goes before whatever you're doing. A method in Python comes after your variable and you're calling it on a variable. So say I want to make my variable all uppercase, okay? The way to do that, I can do this. So let's comment this out. Okay, so here, let's do print. I am excited to be here today. Okay. And then I want to end it with a double quote because I started with double quotes. And now I want to use, I want to say I want to change it all to uppercase, okay? Because I'm excited, right? So I'm going to use a built-in method. Again, print here, because I'm using it in the front, is a built-in Python function. I want to say, I want to make it all uppercase. So I'm going to use a Python method, and I'm going to say dot. To call a method, you have to use a dot. And I'm going to say upper. Okay, so when you call a method, you're going to say dot, and it's going to bring up all the different methods that are available for you to use. So I have is lower, which are tests. They're testing for is alpha, is numeric. So I'm going to use is upper. Okay, so is upper. And when you use a method, you have to put empty open and close parentheses. So now I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to run it. So now you can see here that it made everything uppercase. Any questions? Okay, so I could do the same thing. I'm just going to use the same one. If I want to say, instead of upper, let's pick a different one. Let's just do lower, right? Lowercase. Again, I'm going to use, you have to end it with empty parentheses, okay? When you're doing a method. So it made everything lowercase. Makes your life easy when you're working with CSV files or any kind of data sets. Upper, lower, is alpha, is numeric come in handy because it, it does everything for you, and you're not having to go check by hand. Miles.
Yes, can you use more than one method per string?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So you would just do, if I want to do, I'm trying to think of one, let's see. Like okay, if I wanted to split, if these words were like, I can do replace, and so you would just say, if I wanted to do upper, right, I can do that, and then I can do lower, right, and then it would do upper and lower. You can bridge them together, and it would do both methods. I'm drawing a blank as to which ones I want to put together on the string right now, and I can't. But yes, you can do that with any methods. Okay, so say I want to replace, and I'll do it here, okay? If I have a password and I want to replace the password, and this will come in handy when you're in cybersecurity, if your job has cybersecurity, right? And you ask for a user on the screen to enter their password, and it's hidden, right? And so on the HTML page, when it's rendered, you don't want it to be shown, right? So say we have, I'm going to copy and paste from my notes. So because we're behind on time, and I apologize because I'm not typing. Okay, so say I have this password, right? Do not forget the password is 1234. Remember 1234, easy peasy, 1234, right? So say I want to replace everything that is 1234 with asterisks, okay? And everybody here knows that for cybersecurity or any kind of security, you don't want users' information to be shown on like a public screen, right? That could be visible to any other user, right? So you want to hide those things behind asterisks or, any kind of, to make it blind, right? So you can use a dot replace, and you can replace anything that's a 1234 with these asterisks. Okay. So here, I'm going to do that. So it's a great way to use a replace method. And okay, so then if I want to do just like Miles just asked, to say I want to make everything uppercase, right? There you go. There's your example, Miles. Cool? Yay. Awesome. No one's talking to me. Okay. So now I want to talk about counting. Jessica, how are we doing on chat? Any questions in chat?
No, pretty good.
Okay. Okay, so say we have a sentence with, and for whatever reason, you want to count the number of T's, the letter T in a sentence, okay? We have a method to count, okay? Again, count is one of those methods that you will use all the time. Okay, so say I want to count the number of T's, and I'm going to save this number of T's as a new variables, right? So I'm going to say sentence dot count, and I want to say T, okay? Save. And then I want to print number. Okay, can anybody in chat tell me how many T's, what what it's going to print? Jess, someone give us the answer.
Yes, there are a few people with several different answers. 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
1,
so,
7.
in this sentence, we're looking to see how many T's there are. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 T's. So it should print a 7.
Now everybody knows it's 7.
Okay, so now my question is, okay, Eddie had a question.
It just occurred to me right now, whenever you count for a specific character, that's going to only look for the lowercase t in that particular example. Because I never is.
You just took my next example away.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's why I put my hand down. I was wondering. Okay, never mind. Because I
Okay.
never. It just occurred to me right now. Yeah, that.
Okay, so that is the next example. So here's my next question. So if we took this, we took this. Oop. Okay, so we're gonna. Okay, so there are. Okay, so now the question becomes, how many T's are in this sentence? So the answer is going to be 1. Okay, let me just run it. And then we'll explain. Hold on. Did I save it? It still should be 7. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. It does not count this uppercase T because in Python, it is case sensitive. Okay, it's based on Unicode and ASCII. The language, the embedded language sees uppercase and lowercase. When it's converting it to numbers. So when Python runs, it sees letters as numbers. Okay, and each letter or each character is associated with a number. So then Python converts what it sees as a letter, converts it to a number, then does whatever you tell it to do, the method count. And it says, okay, I see an uppercase T. An uppercase T is what? Right? It does not match a lowercase t. Okay, it's 2 distinct characters. So if you tell it to count an uppercase T versus a lowercase t, they're going to be different. It will disregard the uppercase T or the lowercase t. Now, if I say how many uppercase T's, it should say 1. Okay, cool. Any other questions? Thank you, Eddie. Miles.
So, with this method here, if you took out the T from in the parentheses, would you still need the open parentheses to run it?
If I took out what?
The
Like
the
that?
T that, yes, like if you just had an empty print, like would you still need an empty parentheses after this?
So here?
The same as what you did with upper and lower.
So count is going to require, what is it counting though? Right, so if I do count here, let's save it.
Try it, run it.
Okay, so if let me clear it so everybody can see, because sometimes when it's, okay, so count, let me try to hover over it. So it's giving you an error. It says type error. Count takes at least 1 argument, 0 given. Okay, so this method itself requires you to put something inside the parentheses, whereas upper and lower do not. Okay, upper and lower, the methods in upper and lower do not require you to give it an argument, whereas count does. Now, if I hover over count now, it's not going to do it. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. return the number of non-overlapping occurrences of substring, sub in string, start and end. So here it's telling you that it's, see right here? It's telling you that it's requiring you to put something, an argument inside of the parentheses. If you go to, if I go here and I go to the Python docs, it's going to explicitly explain to you that you're going to be required at least one argument saying, what am I counting? What is Python's going to ask? What am I counting? Right? You can't simply say count an arbitrary something, right? It's asking you, this method is asking you to count something. Okay?
And that question about the syntax of that is a good question. That's why I suggested to run it, because
right,
you have some options. You can if you can go back to your notes, or you can Google it, or you can just try it and you can see what happens. Don't be scared to do that. And Python is really nice because it'll tell you what you need to do differently. And you're not going to be able to memorize all of these methods, and you don't need to. So if it's not something that you use all the time, you're absolutely going to say, wait, does that require parentheses? Does this dot go before or after? And that's absolutely okay and fine. You can try it or you can Google it.
right. Ends with, right? Like you're not going to know, like, does it end with what, right? So let's see what that's. Again, ends with is, oh, hold on. Ends with is another Python method with which requires you to tell it what am I ending with? What am I testing for? Right? So you can use ends with to test like text to say, does it end with a certain letter? Does it end with a certain string? So I can say here, I can say, does it end with a question mark? Right? Let's see what it does. It's going to say true. Okay, it gives you a Boolean. Okay, and if I look at here, oh, I don't know why it's like being, when I want it to bring up the box, it doesn't. See right here? It's telling you that it's returning a Boolean for you, which is a true and a false. Okay, if I say, does it ends with, what's my last word here? String, right? I can even say, does it end with an ing and a question mark? It should also say true because it does. If I say ing without the question mark, it's going to give me a false because it's ending with the question mark itself. So I have to include that. There's a contains, there's a method that says, does it contain an ing that are consecutive? I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of methods that you can use that make your life easy, that are built into Python. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to move on to data types real quick. You guys, we talked about floats and integers yesterday, so we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Booleans right now. So I'm going to comment all this out. Okay, so we have a phone number and it starts with 718. The question now then becomes, is I want to use a Boolean and I want to say, does, I set a variable and I say, does the phone number that I've set here, right? Start with, I've used a method, the number 718. Okay. So what should my response be? The response should be a true. Oh, why didn't it do anything? Can someone raise their hand? Eddie, first one up.
Nothing was logged to the console. You didn't print anything out to the console.
That's right. Okay, so, and what should I be printing? If I want to know if it starts with, which variable should I be printing? Wesley.
You should be printing is NYC.
That's correct. Do I have a question from Ephraim?
I was actually just gonna answer it. No.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay, so it's true. So we already did ends with, we already know that ends with works, right? Let's see. Okay, so we're gonna do user input really quick, and then we're gonna send you guys to breakout rooms. So we're gonna say, we're gonna use the same example of name equals Asha. And I'm gonna say print an F string of below name. Okay, quite boring. You know, I'm totally boring myself here with my own print statement. Okay. And my Python is being slow. Okay. So here, anyone know why it's giving me an error here? Edward.
You have the quote before the exclamation point.
Absolutely. Okay, so it should be here. Correct? Okay, and I gotta save. Perfect. Okay, so say I want to get the user's name, okay? Instead of me saving a variable, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to do this. Okay, so here I'm going to ask for the user's name. To do that, I'm going to save a variable. I'm going to say input. By saying input here, this is a built-in function in Python. Again, function means I'm calling the terminal to do something, okay? And I'm going to say, what is your name? Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something with that name. Okay, once I have that user's input, I'm going to do something with that name. I'm going to take this name and I'm going to use it in the F string. Okay, so now let's clear this terminal, save it. And you see here, it's asking me for my name. Okay, Jessica. And then it printed, hello, Jessica. This is no different than you going to a web page and it asking you for your username. Yes, it's much more complicated. You know, there's many more different things. There's HTML involved, but simply it's asking you for your username. It's simply an input. And then it, you know, you put your login in and then it outputs something else, you know, your bank account statement or whatever it is that you're doing. But all it's doing is it's asking you for an input. Yes, Ephraim.
How does it determine, like, for instance, if someone has is it Jessica, I understand is not a generic name, but
Mhm.
is a regular name. But what about a name like that is not like what if it was a name that is not in well, if it's another type of name.
Okay,
So how would would it still pick up or it automatically know that it's
so
not a word?
right, so I could do anything, right? It doesn't care. This is a computer. It literally does not care. I could say you're inputting. I'm not testing for validity here. Okay. All I'm doing is saying to the user, input something. Now, there are more complicated, and we are going to learn how to test for alpha, numeric, all these kinds of things as we go through the course, is how to test for validity, right? Is it a valid word? Is it a valid name? Does it make like all these types of things? But just on it, the simply saying, I just want you to enter something, right? Input something, right? I don't care what it is. And then we're going to print whatever it is that you inputted into that space, right? I'm not going to test it. I'm not going to do anything. And I'm not saving it. Like I've saved it as name, right? But it's not saving it in a database anywhere. Like I'm not saving it in SQL or anywhere. I'm just literally saving it as a variable here in this code, right? And then if I go somewhere else into another file, this variable name doesn't exist anywhere else. Does that make sense? If I can do a test
That makes sense.
to test, like when I do the input, I can make it and test it that it's alpha, but we're not there yet. We're just simply learning to take a user's input and use that input to a print statement. In the next couple of weeks, we're going to learn how to test that input before we use it. And if the input's not valid, we're going to learn how to loop around and tell the user, you know what, the input that you entered is not valid. Why don't you try again? Jaquan.
I ain't see exactly like what happened. Can you like run it one
Yeah.
more time real quick?
Of course. Hold on. Save it. Okay, so here, so I'm running my file. Okay. The first thing it's going to do is this part, right? I'm saving a variable. I use the input function and I'm telling the terminal, right, to ask the user what my name is. Once I tell it what my name is, okay, I'm telling it I entered Asha. When I hit enter, it's going to save my name. And it's going to here. Okay, I'm going to also show you something. It's saving my name as the variable name. Okay, and then it's using this variable name in this print statement. It's saying hello, Asha.
Okay.
I'm going to do one more thing here. Print name. Okay. I'm going to take this out. Okay. So now, let's do this. Let's do it. Save it. So if I put Draquan, right? I put your name in, right?
Right.
And then all I'm doing is I'm going to hit enter. The computer is going to save the variable name as yours, and then it's going to print your name. Okay?
Okay.
There it is. Now let's do this.
Okay.
I'm going to uncomment this out. Now what should happen is it's going to ask for your name. It's going to save the name, this variable, right? This is username, right? Here's username. I'm going to change this to username because it just makes it confusing. Okay, I'm gonna print the user's name that they entered, and then I'm gonna use the same exact variable again in this F string and say, hello, user, whoever, whatever it was saved as, okay? Let's do it again. Let me clear this. Okay. Who else is here? Donald. Okay, saving it as the user's name is Donald. Okay, I should see the next line is the saved variable name is Donald. The next thing I should see is the print statement, the F string as hello, comma, Donald, exclamation point.
All right. Thank you. Yeah,
You're
I
welcome.
get it. I really thought it was like, I ain't gonna lie, I thought when you clicked it, it just popped up by itself. I ain't see you type the name inside the terminal. Like, that was what I was trying to figure out, like
Got
how
it.
that happened.
Got it. Cool.
All right, thank you.
We have one more hand, and then we're gonna go to break. Ephraim, is your hand up or is it up from before? Okay, so we are going to go to break for 7:40. So for 15 minutes, and then we're coming back at 7:55, and then we're going to breakout rooms. Jessica, you have, wait, before, let me come back. Hold on, let me stop sharing. Is Jessica here?
Yeah,
Don't you have an announcement?
I do.
Okay,
So I want to just take a moment to acknowledge that in previous classes, when you guys went to breakout rooms, I understand that the instructions were not clear. So going forward, in Canvas right now, in the during class, there is a link to the breakout rooms that you're supposed to be in. And unless instructed otherwise, what you do when you go to breakout rooms is work on the after class exercise in the live class. The exercise, so for last week, that was the Hello Pie exercise. And for today, there's also an exercise. I understand it's in the after class, so that's a little confusing, but I don't want to put it anywhere else because it may not get finished. And I don't want it to fall to the wayside because you think that was something that was only during class, because it will still be due. We're giving an opportunity for you guys to work on that together. I just put in the chat the breakout rooms that also assigns the driver and navigator for each breakout room. If you are not the driver or the navigator, you are an assistant navigator. You still have an active role. There's another page at the bottom that delineates what the navigator and driver do, in case there's any questions about that. Another thing is, even though I just explained that, if you ever have any questions, please come back in the main room, message me, don't leave the main room. I want to make sure that the communication is clear. I don't care if you weren't paying attention or your audio didn't work. We want you to succeed. So don't be shy and saying I don't understand what we're supposed to do, or can you repeat that? Please talk to me or Asha and make sure you know what's going on and what the instructions are. Are there any questions about that? If not, go ahead and take a break. I'm going to open the breakout rooms. So when you return at, let's see, 7:57 Eastern time, you can enter your breakout room. Eugene, if you have a question, you can go ahead.
Hey, it's not really a question. I just wanted to let you guys know. I'm experiencing in Virginia, we got a real bad storm here. So if I come in and out is just because my Wi-Fi is going in and out.
Yeah,
Just-
thank you for letting me know. You're not the only one.
Okay.
And yeah, again, I've noted everybody that is having any sort of issue. If you have to have your camera off because your audio is not working or your signal's not that good, just let me know. It's absolutely fine. We just need to know, and that's it. And you won't be penalized, no judgment, but thank you so much for letting me know, okay?
I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. It's been going on for a while. So
Okay.
thank you.
Sorry, at the breakout rooms, I didn't know, I ended up, yeah, the breakout rooms were a mess because they were open, like yeah. Anyway, I can bring them all back or broadcast something.
Yeah, no, I mean, if they're working on their coding exercise, I don't want to interrupt it, but do you guys normally dismiss, like, do you just say you can hop off the call at 8:30, or do you typically bring them back to the main room?
We don't typically bring them back, but it's only been like 2 times, so we don't have a typical.
Okay.
Baby and music.
Oh, you know what? Jay just got knocked out of his breakout room by accident. Let's just move him
right.
into the right room.
Go in the other room.
Do you know what room? Oh, Jay, you were supposed to be in
Hang on.
6. Okay, hang on. Let's see. It's not... Jay, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but it looks like I have to move you to a different room to move you back into room 6. It's not giving me an option to put you directly in 6. So I'm just gonna pop you in. I'm gonna pop you in another room and then just move you immediately.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, why is it like that? That's so weird.
I don't know. Let's see, did that do it? Okay, he should be where he needs to be now. Okay. Yeah, no, it's totally up to you and Asha what you do typically. I used to find that like sometimes people want to continue to work in their breakout rooms, and sometimes we would just leave breakout rooms open for like a long ass time. I guess we can like see what let students kind of lead the way there. Like what I would do is, because I didn't want to have to be in front of my computer, I would just like leave my Zoom running, but have my sound down and my camera off and myself muted.
But tell me what you're thinking. You want to give them like another opportunity to.
I was thinking, yeah, that part of me is like, okay, 17 or maybe it's more, 19 students didn't successfully complete, like didn't either send me a calendar invite at all or attach the document. And I'm starting to think some people I would expect would be well versed in doing this, like Sandra, Donald, people that went through the foundations, they did stuff like that regularly. So I'm like, I think they know how to do it. They probably got stuck on the GitHub exercise and never even opened up the Google exercise. So I don't want to like require them to come to office hours for Google stuff if they know how to use Google products. But yeah, I just want to say a quick message to them of like, hey, I'm reopening this assignment. Take 15 minutes at the end of the evening and just send it to me if you're able to complete this. That way I have like I guess a truer feel for who needs support.
Do we want to just do that now?
They're working on their coding exercise?
I'm sure they're not.
I don't want to like interrupt flow if people are.
I'm sure they're like complaining right now.
The only thing is the breakout rooms. Alana, can you?
I know it turns into such a mess.
I know how. Like I had to I was like, okay, I'm gonna close them, and then they rename themselves, so I had to rename them all again. The rooms.
I'm thinking maybe it's easier if I float through the breakout rooms. That way I can see what's actually going on in there, and I can also say to them, hey, if you didn't do exercise number 2, I reopened it. So maybe I'll just do that.
Oh, is that why they can't? No one's working on it.
What do you mean?
Oh, like let's see, 1, 2, 3. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people, 7 people got the GitHub one done. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. So 6 people passed, 6 people tried, like actually sent it to GitHub.
Yep.
And it didn't pass. That's 12, right? 20 people downloaded it and did not they didn't even try to send it back up.
Ooh.
So that means that they got stuck. So, how about we do this? How about we,
You don't have to go through each room. There's 3 of us, so and 6 rooms. So we could each take 2 rooms and give the same message. If you want.
okay, so there are people, how many people you say did the assignment? Your assignment?
My assignment, 13 people did successfully, but then there are 14 people did successful. 14 people sent me a calendar invite. Doesn't mean that they got every part of it right. Maybe they didn't attach the doc, whatever. 19 people did not send me an invite at all. So I don't know where they got stuck or if they just never got to my exercise at all. And you're saying your numbers are really low too. From a quick look on the Canvas side of things, it looks like 10 people submitted some sort of website URL for your exercise.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah,
know if they
which
were.
makes sense. Which makes sense because 7 people passed, 2 people, 3 people probably just were like, I'm just going to submit something because I have something. Which kudos to them. That's what they should do, right? I'll get some credit, right? So we have like my thing is like it's like which one can we tackle the majority of the people and we have 20 minutes, right? So
the other thing is we can call them back, talk about my bit, because I think my bit is the easier one, right? Like
Okay.
yours might be the one where people are getting stuck. Mine is like, either you can do it or you can't. Maybe there's 3 or 4 different opportunities to like not do it precise. But the
Right.
fact that I got so little response in general is kind of
why don't
appealing.
we just bring them all back?
And then we can also, we'll give them 10 minutes to do my exercise. And in the last 10 minutes, let's talk about like what held you guys up on either of the exercises. Let's just try to like gather as much information as possible.
Do you want me to actually answer the question about why they were failing? Like
You
why?
can. Yeah. I mean, now's the time, right? Like it's
Okay.
nothing to kind of hide from them. I'm going to send out broadcast a message. I just don't want to like interrupt a conversation. So I just gave them a 1-minute warning. That way, if anyone has a final thought that they're trying to get out.
Oh, I also want to say that are we going to tell them that there are going to be we are going to require office hours for some people?
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing, I don't know if you guys know this, but on the breakout rooms, I have our Zoom settings so that you can see, you might have noticed on the, like some people's microphone, you can tell that they're talking.
Yes.
And then there are rooms where it's dead silent or everybody is muted. Not right now. There's not a single room where everybody's muted, but you see a lot of students who are muted, camera off.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we should be floating through breakout rooms to see what's going on in there, but also it's like, we do have some insight into how engaged people are when they're in breakout rooms. I don't know if we need to tell them that. I don't want to seem like domineering and invasive, but like, come on, we can tell if you guys aren't working.
I got a weird message from Kat.
What'd she say? Oh, we're recording. All right. Let's see. Close them all.
Coming back.
Welcome back.
Wait, what happened?
We have 45 minutes.
I'm sorry. I had to come in and crash the party.
We was just in the thick of it.
That's why I gave out my 1-minute morning broadcast, because I was like, I know some people are in the flow and I want to give them a second to at least like put a pin in it, finish their thought.
No, I saw that. I saw the 1 minute.
Sorry,
I didn't
guys.
see the 1 minute.
I'm the party crasher. I'm going to do that to you every so often. No, the reason I wanted to bring you all back was Asha, myself, Jess, we were just looking over kind of some of the exercise that we had you all do at the beginning of class. And I realized that some folks probably got caught up on the GitHub Python exercise and never even got a chance to touch the Google exercise. So what I want to do is I want to give everybody a quick 6 minutes right now. I've got, I think, 14 people who completed the Google exercise, no problem. But for the rest of y'all, take 6 minutes and just finish that up, because what we're going to do is if somebody needs support with things like Google Calendar, Google Docs, I want to be aware of that and be able to support you. But right now, it just looks like half of y'all need that support. And I imagine that's not true. I imagine you may not have had time to do the Google exercise. So we're going to go back into our during class section for today. And let me look at it so I'm using the right language here. And yeah, if everybody could just take 6 minutes right now to, I'm going to share my screen to remind y'all where it is. So during class, just go to the second, number 2, during class exercise, Google Suite proficiency. Take 6 minutes and give me your best shot. And that way I have a clearer indication of who needs help with some of the Google stuff. So yeah, feel free to turn off your camera and we'll all come back on in 6 minutes. All right, so I'll keep an eye out for that. It looks like I got quite a few more in. Sorry to slow down your coding exercise today by kind of derailing us with this silly Google Calendar doc thing. I just want to like kind of, I don't know, emphasize this because you will be meeting your REAP advisors this coming weekend, and I want to be sure that everybody's really comfortable with sending calendar invites that include a link. I want to be sure that everybody knows how to share a Google Doc that will allow their advisor to comment. So it just felt important to kind of make sure that we prioritize getting familiar with our Google products. For anyone that did get held up on either of the two exercises, whether it was the GitHub Python exercise from the beginning of class or the Google exercise, I kind of just wanted to open up the floor to learn a little bit more about some of the pain points for folks. Yeah, Eddie, go ahead.
Okay, I had two issues with the GitHub quiz. One, the unit test was in a different folder, so I had importing issues with the module. I was not finding the module. So I said, I don't have time to focus on that. I have to just push it to GitHub and run the test there. The second thing is that I really didn't pay attention to this before, but I have a auto pep8 formatter on my VS Code that I believe if it wasn't already on there, I put it on after I read auto pep8 in the class materials in an earlier lesson. And that caused my code to be formatted in a way so that it wouldn't pass the unit test, because it's very clear in the unit test that there can't be a space between the comment and the JTC technical, and the auto form on save, the auto formatting was putting a space there.
Ultimately, did you get it to pass the unit test?
Well, if I didn't go back and turn off my formatter within that time, I can still do that, but
yeah,
I changed
Asha.
the unit test to see if that was what was really the problem. And as soon as I changed the unit test to the way my formatting is going, it's passing the test. So that's what it is. I just have to turn my formatter off, which leads me to the broader question then, is that, do we need to make sure we have all formatters turned off for our exercises?
This is an exercise on following instructions. So, you know, the exercise explicitly reads, do not have any extra characters in that comment. So there was no space in that line of code, and it explicitly reads, step 3, use a single line comment and no other characters to comment out line 7. So although I do understand that PEP8 does some linters and PEP8 standardized extensions do add a space, and in PEP8 you do, it does ask for a space. The unit test here, and what we're trying to instill in everybody here, is to explicitly follow instructions. And that is really what the test is here. You will pass. I mean, you're obviously capable of putting a comment in, and that's clear here, right? So that's not a big issue. The other question that you have here is that the unit test is in a different folder. And again, reading the README, it reads, from the main folder of the challenge. This is on line 41 of the README. Step number 3, from the main folder of the challenge, run your computer's version of Python 3 flag M unit test to see if your code works. So it is in a different folder. And from now on, it will be in a test folder rather than explicitly outside. Because as you guys run more and more complex, and you write more complex line code sets, your test needs to be in a separate folder. So, the README is telling you to put to CD into your main folder and then run your test. So it is a little bit different. Totally understand that. But again, you clearly understand the concept of the concept of what you're doing here. So, Alana, is it, you can still push to, you can correct your error and you can still push to and see if it runs. Paul.
When you say main folder, would that be the folder that doesn't have the name test in it?
That's correct. You should be in the W2, the week 2 day 4 directory.
Oh, in the terminal, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
Okay. So if someone wants to share, that is having trouble, you could raise your hand. Let's see. Nice.
Yeah, hey.
Hi.
So I had a quick question.
Sure.
So the folder name, right? The main folder name, it's very long. Can we edit it to make it shorter and push it back without it messing up when we push it back?
Yes.
We could?
Yes.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it does. There's no bearing on what gets pushed. What is synced back and forth. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that Naima had the same. I think Naima's question in a help channel earlier. Eddie.
I'm having a local issue then with module import errors, and maybe I can attend a class I can't think of the name right now.
Office hours?
Office hours, yes, exactly.
Your module error,
to clear that up.
your module error is not because of unit tests. There's something else wrong.
Yeah.
It's not, it's that you're failing the unit test. It's not the unit test. Just hold on 1 second, I'll look at it. Just give me a minute. Amanda.
Yeah, so Donald and I were working on the exercise 2 today. We were kind of working ahead, and I was having the same issues that when you and I met the last time. And I don't really remember what those what we had to do, but remember how we had to you had me try a couple different things, then we finally got it to go through.
So Dario is going to reach out to you and Steven because both of you guys are having the same issue. And set up some time for you guys to meet with Jessica and I to resolve those issues.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Donald.
I'm having some issues too. So during the last before class exercise, one of the issues I was having is that one of the instructions said to run your version of Python and hello py, right? But I did exactly that, but hello py is from another assignment, and it's not even, that folder's not even in that repository.
Okay, so if it's not referencing hello py and you're doing baking, or which assignment, temperature?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would run the temperature. You would run temperature.
I figured that, but I try to run the folder in our assignment earlier, which was hold on. It was the JTC technical PQPY, and it didn't even run anything. I mean, it didn't give me any kind of response to my print statement, hello world.
Okay, are you running Python 3? Are you running Python? What are you running? Like when you run your statement, are you running Python? And then
I just run PY, and then the folder name. So I did PY, JTC, technical, BQ, PY.
Did you try Python instead of PY?
It's always worked with PY, but I could try Python real quick.
Okay, so that's a technical issue that you're going to have to come to office hours.
Okay, I cannot make office hours because of my my work schedule.
Okay, none of them, even Jessica's, the ones that are on Friday night or Sunday.
Actually, this Friday night I could do it. What time is hers?
It's 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so that's 6 p.m. my time. Okay, I can do that tomorrow night.
Okay. All right.
That's the other thing I wanted to call out. I'm working with CUIT to see if we can get our Canvas calendar to also display your office hours. But right now, the best way to keep on top of when office hours are would be to scroll down to the very bottom of the Canvas homepage, or to keep an eye out on the resource channel where there's notifications each time office hours are coming up. I believe it does like a weekly summary and lets you know what office hours will be available throughout the week. And then it gives you a 15-minute reminder before an office hour session begins.
Let's see. The last person in chat that said they did not pass was Andrew. Andrew, are you still here?
What?
Did he bounce?
Sorry, I was on
Oh,
mute.
okay. Do you want to share a screen real quick?
Yeah,
Did you pass?
no. I'm sure it's you said look at instructions explicitly. I try to feed it for things. Hold on, I'm trying to get. So here's my VS Code. When I was looking at the README, comment or delete all calls to your functions, the test will not run with them. And I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Can you scroll up a little bit so I can see the whole thing? Oh, you are scrolled up. I'm sorry. Okay. You're scrolled up all the way. I mean, you're obviously having the same issues that everybody else is. Okay. So number one, on line 7, step number 3 says, sorry. Step number 7 says, God, wait. Step 3, line 20. Using a single line comment and no other characters, comment out line 7.
Right.
The problem with line 7 is it's been modified. You commented it out, but it's been modified at this point. So it will not pass the unit test because at some point you've modified it from the original call.
It was this.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So now, can you save it?
Yep.
Okay. And before you do that, you're running a test. If we go to the README in the discussion that we just had with Eddie.
Yeah.
On line 42, from the main folder of the challenge, run your computer's version of Python 3 flag M unit test. What you are running here is not that.
Hold on.
You're in the test folder. If you look at you have to CD out once. If you look, okay, if everyone's watching, if you look at the folder that he's in, you're inside the tests folder. You're not in the main folder. You need to CD out once. So CD space. Oh.
I got it. I'll just jump back.
Okay. Does everybody know how to CD out one time? You do CD.
That would be very
CD dot CD
CD
space dot. I'm sorry.
CD space dot. That takes you out one time.
That is very helpful.
Is that on the same for Windows?
Yes.
Okay.
So now run the unit test.
Yes.
Hey.
Just passed.
All right. Okay. All right. So I should have. Yep. Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. So wait, before you ever. So does everybody understand what I'm talking about? The main folder. Okay. This is going to be for your challenges, right? Make sure that you're reading the instructions, because there's always going to be embedded, like, and it's not to be a trick, right? This is not a trick, and we're not trying to trick you. What we're trying to do is teach you, when you're dealing with clients and you're dealing with, you know, other people's code, these little things make a difference, right? And it's I promise you, I'm not trying to trick you. It's just getting into good habits of, you know, following what it is that you are being instructed to do. And it may seem trivial and, you know, so obscure, but sometimes it makes the biggest difference. And you guys know what you're doing. You obviously know what you're doing. You know that you're running code. You know, it's not passing, and you know why it's not passing. You're trying to figure out what the heck is going on. But just take your time, go through it, and, you know, fresh eyes, and you'll all be good. I promise. Paul. Thanks, River. And I called you Andrew earlier, and you had no idea what I was talking about.
You can call me whatever. Sorry. No, I was trying to
Okay.
unmute my that was the problem.
Okay. Paul, go ahead. And I gotta go in a few minutes, but I'll take a few more questions.
Okay, thank you. The question I have is for the component of the tests and the actual assignments. Why is it that we need to comment out those functions? Like, is there?
Yes.
Too
I'll
technical?
explain. No, it's not too technical, because the unit test runs the function. Okay, so a unit test, when we run unit tests, okay, the unit test calls a function by itself. Okay, so when I run a unit test, when I create a unit test, okay, in this case, it was JTC technical PQ for pop quiz, right? When I set up a unit test, I have to tell the unit test, go run this function, right? And you should expect it to print out hello world ? Okay. Now, if you leave the function call inside as is, it's going to print it twice, and then it's going to fail. It's going to see hello world ? twice, because now the unit test has printed it, has called the function, and you have as well. So now it's going to fail inherently, because now it's there twice.
Got it. All right, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yep.
So it's like it becomes a you know, this circular issue of who's calling what, you know, who's on first, who's on second type thing, right? Yes, whoever asked Sandra, you asked a question, please go and complete the exercise. You know, I mean, like, I want you guys to complete it and feel good about it. It wasn't like, we want to know who needs help. If you need help, just don't do it, and we'll make sure that you guys get help. We'll set up office hours. This is not about failing or not failing or passing. This is about us trying to figure out who needs office hours, who needs one-on-one help. Okay, please don't get stressed about this. This is not the point about being stressed and passing and failing and all this kind of stuff. Okay, we're trying to figure out who needs help. Okay, Miles.
Quick question on the baking.py for the first function, print ingredients. There is no call function at the bottom of that before we start the next one. Is that on purpose, or is that a typo?
It doesn't necessarily, if there's not one there, like, you don't have to have a call function if it's not needed, right? Right. It's like, yeah, like, if it's not, like, if there's a call function in it, and if you read the README, if there is a call function, you're going to be asked to comment it out anyway. In all of these challenges, if there is a call, you're going to be asked to comment it out, because your unit test is going to call that function anyway, like we just spoke with Paul, right? So if there is a call after you've figured out that your code runs, you go back and you comment at all those calls, because your unit test will take care of it. Okay. And again, like, I don't want people stressing about this. We want everyone to be able to download and clone your test, take it, be able to read the instructions, follow them, and then git add, git clone, git add, git commit, git push, know how to, discern whether you passed or, didn't pass, and then submit your assignment, making sure everybody has the tools to move forward and not be stuck in this, the minutia that everyone's in right now. Not everybody, but whoever is stuck, we want you out of that. So don't stress. So like, hopefully, most of you guys are, that we're stuck in the little space, the space and the how to run your unit test. You guys should be good to go. Eddie, I have like 3 minutes and I have to go. So if you want to share your screen so I can look at it, and then if not, then you come to office hours tomorrow with Jess. Do you want me to look at your code to see why your module's not? Okay. Okay, so can you go to, yep. Okay, so you want to take out, when you're running your pi flag M unit test, take out don't call the unit test. Yep, right there. Let's see that. It just ran.
0 tests.
See right there? Why? Okay, what just happened here?
You see how it says ran 0 tests?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was looking for it to say. Ran
one
how many
test.
file is.
Okay, what's this extra test inside of there? There should be 1 test. What is that? I don't know what that is.
It's not, it looks like it's a binary. It's not something I added.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Can you go to, okay, click on that. Doesn't look like anything got changed. Okay, are you always running PY to run your code?
Yeah, I mean, I aliased it, so I can write out the full thing.
Can you do Python 3? Why is it doing that? And it's so strange. Okay, can you all right, CD into test, and what does it do? Run your test now. Why is it not running your test? I'm concerned that there's an extra test in it. That there's some sort of like ghost test in here, and it's did you happen to change anything in this?
The one thing I did change was adding a space, and then I changed it right back. Because I was curious if it was really, in fact, my auto formatting that was messing me up, which of course it was. I'm thinking based on the module error I got earlier that it is something specific to my system, because it looks like it's going directly into my Python libraries. There might be something wrong in my system itself, and I don't know. I have to investigate that.
Okay. Can you come to office hours tomorrow?
It
or
starts
Sunday? Or Sunday?
I'm gonna try to make it. I have to look at my calendar right now. I don't have it on.
Okay.
And I'm gonna.
What I would do is I would push, can you push this up to, it still might pass in GitHub.
I already did, and it
Did it
after Alana
pass?
had mentioned it, and it passed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
Okay.
me not being able to run it locally for some reason.
Yeah. Can you also, would you please screenshot this for me?
Yes.
So I can investigate what's going on with this module error.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody else that's having like this, like a weird, I know about Steven and Donald, are you having the same issue? Donald, you're the same issue?
I just passed right now.
You got it to run?
I was just working on it. Yeah, I got it to run.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was actually I forgot to there were some spaces in like when I commented out that thing, so I had to take the space out.
Fantastic.
And then I ran the unit test, but I forgot to save it. I kept running. I was like, what's going on? So I saved it and then
Good.
I ran it again and it worked. Okay.
Okay.
But I'm still having problems with other assignments, but I'll
Okay.
go to the thing tomorrow and figure it out.
Okay. Anybody else that's having like a big, like can't get, like you're having a big problem right now? No raising hands.
Let's call it a night then.
Okay.
After
You guys did a really great job. Don't be like frustrated. I see a lot of green check marks.
I'm still missing a few calendar invites though, so let me get those within the next
River.
day or two, folks.
Yep.
This is for Alana, just real quick for Saturday. We received like an email not from JTC but from somebody else about REAP.
That's correct. Yeah, so they use a different platform and it comes directly from Remo, but that is the invite you're going to use. I think it also, the invite includes something where it allows you to register for the event.
Yeah.
So yeah, just use that calendar invite. Remo is the name on it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys, I will see you Saturday. Good job this week.
Good. All right. See you guys in office hours.
Take care.
Thank you.
Is anybody staying on to work with each other, or else I'll end the Zoom?